Hello, and welcome to today's edition of SPS on Conversations, where our topic is, are you prepared for 2021? Pleased to have everybody here. Thank you for your time. To start, a couple housekeeping items. We are recording today's session and all participants are on mute. You should be hearing audio at this time. You can test your sound by following the prompts on the screen. If you have any questions, please go ahead and drop it into the Zoom question and answer box at the bottom of your screen. We'll make sure to answer all these questions during a Q&A section at the end of the event, and you can address questions to any and all of our panelists. As far as our topic for today, we're here to discuss, as I mentioned, are you prepared for 2021? 2020 certainly was not the year any of us expected, and retail and distribution companies needed to pivot quickly to keep up. What lessons did they employ that they're carrying into this new year? That's what we're here to find out. We've invited several of your peers to share their experiences with you today, as well as several experts from SPS Commerce and NetSuite. In the next 50 minutes, you'll hear, what do these suppliers have planned for in 2021 and why? How are they using an integrated SPS and NetSuite solution to accomplish more? What advice would they offer based off of their experiences? And answers to topics that you requested to learn more about when you registered for today's event. My name is Ben Bratland from SPS Commerce, and I will be your host today. I'm here to guide our conversation, make sure we answer your questions, and we wrap up on time. Also, please stay alert as we will be doing a prize drawing at some point during the event. Next, it is time to introduce our esteemed panelists. First, we have Jarod Jepperson. Jarod is the Vice President of Operations at Rebel Creamery, the maker of the lowest net carb ice cream on the market. Welcome, Jarod.
Thank you for having me.
Next, we have Director of EDI and Integration at Poo Pourri, Paul Mann. Poo Pourri is the company that is keeping us fresh in 2021. Hi, Paul.
Hi.
Next, we have Emily Curran, Senior Product Manager at SPS Commerce. Emily specializes in our NetSuite system automation solution. Glad to have you. Next, we have Dick Schultz, Vice President of Customer Success, who leads our NetSuite delivery team at SPS Commerce. Thank you, Dick.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Last but certainly not least, we have Matt Rodas, Senior Director of Go-to-Market and Strategic Initiatives at Oracle NetSuite. Glad to have you here, Matt.
Thanks, appreciate it. Glad to be here too.
To start us off, I'm going to turn it over to Emily. Emily, please take it away.
Awesome, thank you, Ben. So for the first portion of our discussion, we have Matt and Dick joining us. Let's start by having our panelists just introduce themselves at a high level. Matt, do you want to go first?
Sure thing. Yeah, as Ben mentioned, I'm the Senior Director of Strategic Initiatives and our target market go-to-market strategy at NetSuite. I lead a group of solution professionals that help our prospects and existing customers.
Great, Dick.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Dick Schultz. I lead customer success at SPS with responsibility for our NetSuite practice. You'd know my team better. We work with our customers primarily on their initial onboarding to SPS, any ongoing support or success management, and just really excited to be here today to talk about 2020 and 2021.
Awesome. Well, let's dive in. So for our first question, I'd like to ask you both to share the business challenges that your customers have brought to you and your teams and what advice you are giving them. Matt, let's have you go first.
Yeah, that's a great question. By and large, everyone that I've really helped and spoke to this year was caught flat-footed. And depending upon the size and the maturity of the organization, one of two problems emerged that we started to see as common themes. The first is those companies where the main channel that you interacted with or that you depended upon for revenue suddenly disappeared. And you are now sort of in this position of now needing to go out and either quickly add new channels or find new ways to pick up that lost revenue. And the second were those that maybe were already working with a broad range of channels, but were now crippled by the lack of automation or all the manual processes for either import or execution that was required to keep up with an uptick in volume, because obviously there are some businesses that have done very well during the pandemic. And so now even those companies were in a position where they were caught flat-footed because they didn't have the processes in place and the automation in place in order to get themselves through a time like this.
Thanks, Matt. I would say that echoes some of the similar themes that we were hearing on our side from our customers. Dick, what would you add or elaborate on based on what SPS customers have been working with you on the most in 2020?
Yeah, as Matt said, obviously the big story this year was the impact that COVID had, and primarily in our world, looking at how it changed how we as consumers purchased our products. The big change was the supply chain mix. Within the supply chain, we've seen a movement towards drop ship from several vendors accelerating, and the pandemic, I think, just bought us ahead 5, maybe 6, 7 years in the speed at which that happened. So we saw customers with gigantic order volume spikes, really good news, like multiple times their order run rates. The downside was their order value was down quite a bit. So as Matt had kind of alluded to, those that did really well had flexible supply chains. They were able to snap into that ramp, to be able to align their processes in some cases, if they were dealing with 3PLs, having the bandwidth to be able to really consume that order volume. The second part that we saw pretty consistently where there are opportunities for our suppliers was, again, driven by this, but those that were in a position to fill gaps that retailers had in supply chain. Some suppliers weren't able to meet requirements, which gave others opportunities to enter new markets. And we really saw the uptick in our world where we had many customers coming to us with the opportunity to add new suppliers to their environments through SPS. So we did a lot of work helping existing customers add those new opportunities into their world as retailers expanded to fill gaps or just expanded their virtual storefronts.
Thanks, Dick. Our registrants indicated that they wanted to know what was new with NetSuite and SPS that could help their business during disruption. Could you share some of the recent developments? Dick, can you start off by telling us about SPS fulfillment?
Sure, and I'll just pick up where I left off the last question on really this change in velocity and its impact. And we did a couple things on the fulfillment side related to both our base fulfillment product and our NetSuite offering. First, with our latest release of our NetSuite bundle, providing some configurable ability to automate invoices to help support that dropship volume. For some of our suppliers, being able to auto send an 855 so that acknowledgement, some of the time windows are very tight, and be able to automate that for our clients. And then just adding new channels. So as we've expanded our footprint in e-commerce and marketplaces, were big things on our side. Specific to NetSuite, I'm just laying the groundwork. NetSuite's investment in WMS has been significant over the last couple of years as that's matured. Our intent with our product on the bundle side of SPS is to keep up with that. So we have been moving that along, and you'll see in upcoming releases of our product that we're aligning to take advantage of those new capabilities. I do want to point out at a high level, we also keeping lockstep with everything that NetSuite is investing in their product, making sure we're testing and certifying both releases, each major releases that come out from NetSuite. Very important to our strategy and how we've helped support our customers as basically everybody's pivoted quickly to align with these new needs.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Dick. I know a lot of the customers I've spoken to are super excited about those new features we've released, and they do appreciate the interactions that they have directly with your team. Matt, how about from a NetSuite perspective? What's new that you should be aware of?
Sure thing. I'll take the softball that Dick sent my way and first kind of start with WMS. And there's really two sides of the coin that NetSuite has really been investing heavily when it comes to kind of solving the challenges that our customers have been feeling during the pandemic that we've been working on for years. And one of those is NetSuite WMS, and really helping to double down on the actual order execution inside the warehouse and smoothing out the automation and the system processes necessary in order to do that, built right on top of NetSuite. So you've seen a lot of improvements in the UI and feature and capability over the last 3 releases, and we'll continue to do so in the future. So we've seen a huge demand in that this year. Even customers that do leverage a 3PL may start doing some fulfillment themselves. And certainly our customers that have retail stores have gotten some benefit out of that, because where they found themselves with locations that were no longer open with inventory in them, it allowed them to leverage that in order to use those as shipping facilities. But really the big one that has kind of led the way for this year is like I mentioned on that theme of automation and around NetSuite's investment in intelligent order orchestration and order management. And that's really been the clear winner for us and our customers this year, as they were bringing on several new channels and operating with a lot of different rods in the fire, if you will. NetSuite Advanced Order Management really kind of helped them automate and take the people out of that process. And if I kind of leave with sort of my advice for the rest of this year with those themes, I started the year telling all of our customers, look, just get going, like use what manual processes, like just get going, don't wait. But now is the time to go back and solidify those processes, automate those processes, put the technology in place to remove the manpower from that equation, because this is not going away anytime soon. And certainly even after everybody is vaccinated, there's not going to be a snap back right away. So there's many, many months to years left of this new business environment. So spend the time, spend the money investing in that automation.
Thanks, Matt. There's always so much happening at NetSuite that our attendees can take advantage of. So we do appreciate you sharing those insights with us.
Absolutely.
So speaking of automation, we are now going to move on to our short demo where our audience can see the SPS Commerce NetSuite integration solution in action. This will be followed by our second panel with Poo Pourri and Rebel Creamery. But don't worry, Dick and Matt will be back to answer questions from the audience during our Q&A session. Let's bring it back to Ben for the demo.
Excellent. Thank you, Emily. I will share my screen here. Here's a look at the SPS Commerce product embedded inside of NetSuite. A couple things to note here. Our goal for this product is to allow our customers to do as much as possible natively in NetSuite. SPS has built this product in a way that leverages native NetSuite functionality and the way NetSuite handles order to cash processes so that you can be EDI compliant and complete your EDI process without having to diverge from the normal NetSuite process. This here, you can see SPS Commerce has added our own tab or portlet inside of NetSuite, essentially being your EDI home base. Key EDI functionality like cross-referencing, order exceptions, pack logic are included right here inside of the system so that our customers can be autonomous. To start, I'm going to quickly pull up everybody's favorite document, a new sales order. Here you can see is a new sales order from NetSuite that we have created automatically for our customers. You can see we brought this in as a pending sales order. You can see who the order is from, the order number, the item description, the quantity ordered, the costs per unit, all the pertinent information needed on an order is included here. Again, leveraging NetSuite's native process, we are going to approve this order. And again, you can see here item descriptions, the quantity back ordered, all this key information. And now we're actually going to fulfill this order, or this is the process where our warehouse team would actually go pick these off the shelf. Worth noting at this point that SPS Commerce is, as Dick and Matt mentioned, is built into the NetSuite WMS functionality, or if you work with another third-party WMS that's tied into NetSuite, SPS Commerce partners with a lot of those companies as well. Here you can see the location or the warehouse location of this item, the quantity on hand, the UPC number. And the next thing we need to do is actually pack this shipment. This new feature, or I shouldn't say new feature, this feature is one that I feel gives our NetSuite customers the most value, in that we work with all our customers to understand their business rules of by SKU type, by order type, by customer. What is the business rules you have for how you pack those boxes? With the goal of eliminating any manual intervention of how do I need carton pack? Do I need case pack? Do I put this on a pallet? How many boxes does this need to go into? We're going to work with you to preset these requirements. So one, our customers save time and avoid manual entry. And two, it allows the warehouse workers to not have to worry about on each individual order, how am I going to pack this? we're going to direct them on how to handle that. So you can see in this scenario, this order needs 3 different cartons with a quantity of 6 in each carton. We're able to automatically populate the package weight for these items to really streamline the process of creating that shipment, printing the labels, and creating the ASN. So now I'm going to batch print all the labels for this all at once, right here from inside of NetSuite. These are pre-built labels that SPS Commerce generates for our customers with no need to design or build these labels yourself. And these can be printed to any thermal or laser printer. So we're going to print these. And now is the time we're going to mark that as shipped. And now we actually need to create our advanced ship notice. So thus far, we've automatically created a pending sales order. We've approved that. We've picked the goods. We've automatically created a shipment and printed the labels. And now with a click of the button, we are going to create this advanced ship notice. It's also worth highlighting at this point for the sake of a demo, I'm actually clicking the buttons here, but virtually everything I've showed and will show can be set to run automatically to save our customers keystrokes and mouse clicks and essentially process this with no intervention at all. So here we can see that ASN we created is sitting in the file cabinet ready to go out to Amazon. Now I'm going to jump back to this original sales order. And if you recall previously, this sales order asked us to approve it. Now our solution is very intuitive and it knows that this sales order is now ready to be billed. So we all want to get paid. So we're actually going to send this invoice out or prepare this bill. Again, just with a click of the button, we're automatically generating all this vital information so that our accounts receivable team can send this out. We are going to save this. And you can see here the integration status is set at ready. Most of our customers to send the outbound invoice don't actually have to click any buttons, but purely just follow the native NetSuite process of posting invoices. And actually posting invoices is what tells SPS Commerce to come grab that and send it to Amazon or whoever your retail customer may be. Again, for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to actually click that button to send it. And now we have processed a full order to cash cycle for Amazon. That was certainly a short demo, but it gives you the idea of how SPS Commerce solves this business problem for our customers, quickly bringing in sales orders, picking them, packing them, printing labels, sending out the ASNs, and billing for those. If you're interested in a more robust demo, please contact us, as this is really just a taste of what SPS Commerce and NetSuite do when we work together. Now is the time in the event where we want to get your input. So we have a poll here we're going to bring up to really talk about what are the biggest changes facing your business in 2021. So your biggest changes, is it equipping a remote workforce, increasing individual orders, opening new revenue streams, channels, managing store openings, closures, hiring staff, automating new processes, or all of the above? And I hope it's not all of the above, because that is a lot to manage in 1 year. But it may be. Let's see the results of this poll. All right, looks like automating new process is the #1 requirement, or the #1 challenge facing businesses in 2021. Certainly not surprising. I think we saw a lot of companies have to adjust their fulfillment process, move towards significantly more drop shipping, and that often requires quicker turnaround times for documents and shipments. So not a surprise, and I think a good fit and a good segue to our next discussion. And I'm going to turn it back to Emily to talk to Paul and Jarod about their insights from 2020 and going into 2021.
Great, thanks, Ben. And I agree. I think Paul and Jarod will be able to help our audience understand some of the automation processes that they put in place as well. So we're delighted to have Jarod from Rebel Creamery and Paul from Poo Pourri with us today. Similar to how we handled the first panel, let's start off by having you introduce yourself, your company, and tell us all a little bit about your business. Jarod, let's have you go first.
My name's Jarod Jepperson. I work for Rebel Creamery. I've been there for a few years now, and it's been an amazing opportunity. Rebel Creamery was the first keto-based ice cream in the market, as well as the only lactose-free ice cream as well.
Great. Paul?
Thank you, Emily, and hello, everyone. Just a little bit about me. I've been in integration space for about 20 years. 14 of those years have been with the Boeing company, where I had responsibility for integration services, which entailed EDI and web services. Currently at Poo Pourri, I have responsibility for EDI onboarding of our retailers through SPS Commerce. Additionally, I have responsibility for the care and feeding of our marketplaces, our API integration, our 3PL integrations through our middleware solution. I've been with Poo Pourri a little bit over a year now. If you're a consumer of our product, you know that Poo Pourri is the original before you go to the spread. That stops order before it begins. Supernatural is another product line that we have under the Poo Pourri family. And Supernatural is a line of eco-friendly cleaning products. Glad to be a part of the panel.
Great. So looking back, 2020 was a crazy year, and I'm guessing based on both of your product lines, there was a significant impact to your business and operations. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and what changes you had to make? Paul, we can have you go first.
Sure. Yes, 2020 was absolutely a crazy year. Like many other companies, we dealt with disappointing shortfalls in customer forecasts, order holds, order changes, and even cancellations. These impacts had a ripple effect on our business. We had to get creative to stay afloat during the impacts of COVID-19. As an organization, the decision was made to bring to market a product that was in great demand at a time due to COVID-19. In record time, we were able to move into the hand sanitizer business, which is a departure from our foundation. The decision to bring to market a very critical item at a very, very critical time brought the organization through a very difficult time. Being able to pivot into a new market for Poo Pourri was very, allowed us to actually weather the storm of 2020.
Great. Thanks for sharing that story and how you were able to pivot and go into a completely new market line based on the impact that COVID had. Jarod, I know my ice cream consumption definitely increased last year. How did 2020 impact your business and what changes did you make?
Yeah, I think everyone's ice cream consumption went up in 2020. The overall ice cream category in 2020 for major retailers was up 25%. As everyone is aware, there was supply chain issues throughout 2020, and many were at the breaking point, unfortunately. When Rebel Creamery started, we actually made the decision to start with 3PLs and have multiples in specific regions. And that actually paid off huge dividends for us in 2020. With that model, we were able to maintain our supply chain, even with shutdowns in a few of our 3PLs, unfortunately, due to COVID. We were able to keep our fill rates up, we were able to stay flexible, and we were able to take advantage of some of the outages at major retailers, and so it became an opportunity for us.
Great insights, thank you both. So many of our attendees use NetSuite, SPS, or both solutions. You know, both of you have mentioned that you're integrated with SPS and NetSuite today. Can you share with our audience how these integrated solutions will impact your 2021 plans and any recent changes or capabilities that are breakthroughs for you? Paul, we can have you take this one first again.
Okay, sure. So we're fully integrated with our customers and trading partner community through SPS Commerce and NetSuite. Our integration consists of customer order, ASNs, invoicing, the standard transactions. Additionally, we have integration with our 3PL providers with order and ASNs. Currently, we are focused on implementing the order change transaction into NetSuite with just a few select customers to start. As Poo Pourri enjoys a year-over-year growth, the need to automate our order management in terms of changes is critical. So we believe that the by automating the order change transaction is going to be very imperative for us, and it's going to increase efficiency for us. Additionally, towards the end of 2020, we implemented a automated cross-reference into NetSuite that has been a huge win for us. We have retailers that send their quantity packs, their cost on the purchase order. So we have to manually modify those items in NetSuite. The automation of that cross-reference has allowed us to actually be more efficient in terms of having that item fulfillment, the lines on the order actually automated, and then those same automation is carried over to our 3PL. So they get what we have in our system, and the return transactions back to our customer are returned back to how they sent to us. So that has been a huge win for us, being able to automate the cross-references.
Awesome, thank you. I know many in our audience may be in different spectrums in terms of where they're at from automation capabilities. Some may be just looking for the basic sales order invoice automation. Some may be trying to figure out how to connect and automate with their 3PLs. And then that unit of measure cross-reference one is a big one that comes up a lot, because depending on the orders or items, that can be very time consuming and painful from a manual standpoint if you don't have cross-reference in place. So thanks for sharing with that. Jarod?
Yeah, so using NetSuite and SPS together has made us much more efficient, especially from the order to cash perspective, which overall means the product makes it to our retailers more quickly and into the hands of our customers, which is a huge benefit for Rebel Creamery. Because with that, we can actually receive payments faster due to EDI and invoicing that way, which allows us to stay out of our credit lines and be able to manufacture much quicker and actually do some more R&D and get new products to the market much more quicker for 2021.
Great, thank you. So in general, speaking of 2021, what's in store? Any learnings or solutions that you are leaning on from 2020? And Jarod, we can have you continue with this one.
Yeah, as Dick and Matt had mentioned before, it's efficiencies are going to be key for 2021. None of this is going away anytime soon, unfortunately, and it's going to have a lasting effect on how we do business. One thing that Rebel Creamery did really well in 2020 was ensuring that we had multiple distribution points throughout the country. All of them linked with EDI and gave us that advantage where we had several opportunities that unfortunately several of our competitors missed on. Also, having a web-based ERP system during this time is a huge advantage because it allows us to make data-driven decisions in a timely manner.
Awesome. Paul, what's in store for Poo Pourri in 2021 and any learnings that you guys are leaning on from 2020?
Sure. So automation is just as several have brought out in the poll, automation is the name of the game for us in 2021. We're going to continue to seek out any manual processes that we currently have and automate those as much as we can. And in addition to that, we're going to continue to build upon our relationship with SPS by onboarding more trading partners, more retailers.
Great. So I've got one last question for each of you before we go into our Q&A. And I have a feeling some responses are going to be pertaining to automation of workflows and processes. But what advice would you have for our attendees today related to achieving success in 2021? And Paul, we'll have you go first.
Sure. My advice would be, if you have any plans to integrate into NetSuite, SPS Commerce is a very capable and supporting partner to develop and build an integration strategy. From my experience dealing with SPS in 2020, SPS has been committed to working with Poo Pourri with our integration strategy.
Great.
And for Rebel Creamery, it's automate and become flexible. As 2020 showed us, supply chains can no longer have one center distribution point for a cost savings model. Any shutdowns in that distribution center can stop your supply chain completely. And unfortunately, your brand may never recover from that, as it showed in 2020. My advice is having several distribution points and have them all linked through an EDI provider, and have a web-based ERP system. That way, if you need to work from home, as a lot of us had to in 2020, you have that flexibility and you're not left behind.
Well, this was all great advice I'm sure our audience can use, or gives them a couple of things to think through in terms of their strategies for 2021. So thank you so much to both of you for sharing your experiences and learnings with us today. Ben, I will hand it back to you, and I believe there's the matter of prizes that we need to settle.
You're absolutely right, Emily. We do have prizes. As you can see here, when you registered for the event today, you were entered to win this exciting On Conversations logoed wireless charger. Really to keep all your devices charged, allowing you to keep your smartphone and everything else ready when you are. Our two winners for the show or for today's event are Cindy Doherty and Laura Fung. Congratulations, Cindy and Laura. We have your email addresses from when you registered. Our events team will be in contact with you to arrange delivery of these items. And now we're going to proceed with the question and answer session. So I know we had several questions come in. To start, this is a question, looks like Emily, you would like to answer this one, so I'll direct this to you. Are the bundles for the Auto 810 and 855 automatically released to your customers, or do you have to request them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can start with this one, and Dick, feel free to chime in as well. But with the 855 enhancements that Dick was mentioning, so this is actually something that comes standard with our fulfillment offering in terms of you can now automatically send an 855 purchase order acknowledgement to your trading partners in those accept in full scenarios. And that's something that can be configured directly within fulfillment. If you want additional automation leveraging NetSuite, or we want to look at inventory levels, for example, that is something that can be configured by our implementation team and would need to be requested. Same thing with the auto invoice workflows. Again, those are just workflows within NetSuite that we can easily configure for you to set up that auto invoice.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Emily. I would also add, if you still have more questions, it is not too late. Please enter them into the Q&A box down below. This next question is from Ferline. Apologies if I misspoke on that, mispronouncing your name. Asking about if this session will be sent out. This session is being recorded, and we will share it. We'll share it with all attendees. I believe we're sharing it via LinkedIn post, but Verlene, we can make sure to share that with you directly. This next question is from Thad. And Thad asked, did you say we can automatically print case labels that are shipped to different customers? Are you able to customize these case labels for different customer requirements? Dick, I think you may be a good fit for that one if I'm not going to put you on the spot.
You put me on the spot. I was going to ask Emily to take that. So.
Emily, please take it away.
So yeah, so the labels adhere to the trading partner requirements. So we're maintaining those requirements on your behalf, building out the labels based on the specifications that your trading partner has. When you're integrated with our NetSuite solution and sending that ASN from NetSuite, we can configure and set up those labels as well. So you have one streamlined process and you don't have to log into a separate solution or portal to print out those labels. Regarding the customized case labels, yes, they will be customized for the different requirements. So what Target's going to want on their labels is going to be different from Amazon, and we'll manage all of that for you.
Great. Thank you for that. Next one. Does the integrated solution manage both e-commerce and retail orders? Emily, looks like that's another good one for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So when we think about our SPS fulfillment solution, you are connecting to our network, and our network supports all order channels. So whether it's a wholesale trading partner that requires EDI, you're looking to get drop ship orders from them, or you have an e-commerce system that you're leveraging for your own storefront or website, all of those orders can be sent and received through the SPS Commerce Network and then automated into your NetSuite system as a sales order. So you've got one place to go for all orders, and that's NetSuite. You don't have to worry about toggling between the various points that you may be getting those orders today.
Excellent, thank you. Looks like we have one more question, and this one is for Paul and Jarod. How do Rebel and Poo Pourri utilize advanced ship notices, and what are you gaining from this transaction?
I'll take that first.
Go ahead, Jarod.
More cash in our pocket, actually, with the advanced ship notices. That's one thing that's huge for us. Yes, we utilize that function on all major retailers that require it, especially the Walmart, the Targets of the world. And it's all about compliance when it comes down to that, of making sure that we are following their regulations, and so that we do not receive any chargebacks. And bottom line is, when we go to these retailers again, we want to make sure that our supply chain is keeping up with the amazing products that we're putting out there. And the last thing we would want to do is have failures with their compliance to affect how our products would go to market.
And for Poo Pourri, ditto to what Jarod said, it's all about being compliant and ultimately getting paid. So bringing that fulfillment back into NetSuite is key for us to kick off with.
Awesome, thank you both for that. Yeah, certainly avoiding chargebacks and keeping money in your pocket is the name of the game. So glad to hear that's working for you. And certainly your retailer's happy, keeps your vendor scorecard up, and helps those orders keep flowing in. Perfect. That is the extent of our questions today. Let me see, actually looks like, oh, I do see one more that came in. Paul, somebody asked, you mentioned changes in your supply chain. What changes did you need to make to accommodate when you pivoted to doing hand sanitizer?
Well, we had to stand up new fillers who actually created the product for us. So we were able to do that in record time. How we pulled that off, I do not know. Some people working behind the scenes to do that. Getting the chemical mix down was another, it was done in record time. So yeah, just working with their fillers and working with our internal ops teams to get that product out to market quickly. It was done in record time.
Got it. Very exciting. Yeah, I think we saw a lot of companies, whether it was face masks or hand sanitizer or soap or cleaning supplies, a lot of our customers had to pivot quickly and add new products that people were selling. As I think we all went through grocery stores this spring and summer and saw a lot of barren shelves. So thank you to companies like you who were able to adjust and help us there. Perfect. I think that is it. So perfect. I will share my screen again here. Hopefully it's sharing correctly this time. So thank you again to all our panelists, especially Paul and Jarod, for taking the time today. We really appreciate your insight and for sharing your wisdom during this discussion. Please keep an eye out for a short survey from SPS Commerce. We'll include a summary of this discussion, And really, we appreciate your feedback on this survey so we can continue to deliver these events in ways that are valuable to our customers. When you complete that survey, we will send you a $5 Starbucks gift card. And then lastly, if you're interested in learning more about how NetSuite and SPS Commerce can help you in 2021, reach out to us today. Our contact details are here on the screen. We'd love to have a further conversation, whether it's sharing more about your business, learning more about ours, seeing a more in-depth demo, or any other questions you may have. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you, everyone.